JD, welcome to my channel. Today, before I start anything, I've got to do a watch check. So what do I have here? I've got the Hamilton Interstellar watch. Look at that baby. So it's not Sunday, it's Monday. So it's the Hamilton Interstellar. All right. And they call it the Interstellar because of the movie. You use this watch to communicate between two people, the father and the son. So beautiful watch. It's kind of neat. The markers on it, like the 10, 15, 20, the indices, the markers, they are angled. So if you pitch them at a certain angle, the light bounces off of them. So it's pretty cool. You can't really see it like that. Well, they're shining like this. So on the 50, for example, there's a million little tiny roofs on that 50 causing the light to bounce off it. So it's a beautiful watch. There it is in the back end. So it's got a you can see the movement back here. So it's got a 80-hour power reserve, which is amazing. So they run a 28.8 at 21.6, and they get an 80-hour power reserve out of that. So it's a beautiful watch. The date's wrong and the day is wrong, but I never change the day and date on my watch anyway because I don't wear them long enough. So there it is there. And one thing I do like about this watch is the clasp. So the Hamilton dual clasp here, running into the dual thingamajobby doobie doohickeys here, which is kind of neat. I like this. Very nice watch. Very nice leather strap. I'm going to put this back on, but what am I looking at here today? I'm looking at a Waltham size 12 pocket watch that has an issue. So this one is kind of pissing me off. I did the work on this already. I'm going to just move my camera down a bit to get that organized. So like I said, I did the work on this watch already. I had to, as you recall, I had to adjust the sleeve in there so you could set time and wind. Now all that stuff works absolutely perfectly. The only problem I have on this watch now is the fact that the mainspring is slipping. So not a good thing. Slipping mainsprings can cause all kinds of issues. Well, I can't wind it up and won't keep a long wind. I put a new mainspring in there, but maybe the barrel hook or the hook for the barrel hook or the arbor hook are not catching. So what I'll do here is I will take this plate off, and then I'll remove the ratchet here for the mainspring, and then I will take the plate off. I don't have to remove this, and then I will get that barrel out of there, and I'll see if I can fix that slipping problem on the barrel. All right, I've got to take out my world's best movement holder. I keep saying this over and over again. Your third hand Myers movement holder number 58. I think I have 4 of these. I was on a collection binge. They'll run you around 350 bucks. So they're not cheap. They're very, very expensive, and they're also really hard to get a hold of. So I think I bought out the market on it. So ha to everybody out there who wants a Myers number 58 movement holder. So don't get mad at me just because I have one and you don't. That's a joke that came from the Muppets. What was it? What was that Muppet show? Let me think for a second here. I'm trying to remember what that show was. The Muppets something or other. The Muppets something or other. Anyway, the king is talking to his 2IC there, and he goes, Smithers, why do you think they call the king's wand a scepter? And he goes, I don't know, sire, why? Because everyone's got one, and he doesn't. And then Smithers says, Sire, I don't think that's the way the joke goes. Next time you talk to the people, the joke goes, why do they call the queen's wand a scepter? Because everyone's got one, except her. Oh, yeah, you're right, Smithers, you're right. So a little later on, he goes up to the princess that Kermit the Frog wants to marry, and he says, so, princess, I got a joke for you. Why do they call the queen's wand a scepter? And she goes, I don't know, sire, why? And he goes, because everyone's got one. She doesn't. Now, I told that joke to my youngest kid and youngest kid being pretty old right now, and he thought that was so friggin' funny. He laughed his butt off. And it is, you gotta like that kind of sense of humor, right? In order to appreciate good humor. So, if Bill happens to be watching this video this morning, when he wakes up and he says, I wonder what JD's up to. I'm still waiting for the damn mainspring for your 7750 Valjour, because I don't want to do the work until I have that mainspring. So it's pissing me off, but I have to wait. I have no choice but to wait for that mainspring. I just put my hand over the watch like this a bit, take the face off. I'm just going to remove this movement without having to remove the hands and everything else. See if I can get that spring out without having to completely disassemble the watch. So, because everyone's got one, she doesn't. Now I gotta pull this out. Click. Turn that around and make sure it doesn't drop on anything. And I think I can just take it out like this. There we go. Remove that movement. Now I'm going to look at where I got to remove the ring to get this out. Nice stuff. Let's see, I think the ring will come out if I just put my thingamajobby doohickey in here and then rotate it. I'm picking at it here. This, my friends, is a dust ring. Prevents dust from getting into the movement. I'm having fun. There's little points here where you're supposed to put your screwdriver in and then lift it from here. So you just do that. I don't want to slip in any way and cause this screwdriver to hit that balance. That's what I'm really afraid of when I do things like this. Why do they call the Queen's Wand a scepter? Let me move this out of the way too, just in case something accidentally falls. It's almost out. There we go. Just put that ring aside here. Now I look where my hands are, although I don't think this will touch the hands. I'm going to get a key here really quickly and just line those hands up a bit. That way nothing's touching them. And keep my fingers away from the balance. Away from the balance. This thing was working really well, so I don't want to screw with that at all. And just put that like that. And I want to see where that plate is. The plate's right there, so I should be able to unscrew that plate and then pick it right up. So I'm just going to put this movement in here like that and screw it down a little bit, not too hard. Like I said, with these Myers movement holders, these are spring-loaded, which is really nice. So you're not squishing this with the tension of the actual threading on the threading. Is this too big a screwdriver? I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. Always use the right screwdriver for the right job. So the first thing I need to do before I do that is actually, I want to take this screw off right here so I can remove this ratchet. Now it shouldn't be on too tight because it doesn't need to be on too tight because it actually spins in the proper direction to never loosen. Little tidbit of knowledge that everybody should know. So now I did take the tension off the spring before because I let it wind all the way down, so I'm hoping that this doesn't go in any way. Just moving these parts aside right now, and now I should be able to take off the plate that's holding the barrel down. There's 3 screws here. Screw number 1. Just remove that screw, and then I had this watch all together. I had the mainspring in. I had everything working perfectly. I took this plate off already once, and I thought, okay, that's not the problem, but I think it is. I took the plate off and I took out the barrel, and I thought, is the latch on the barrel just not connecting or something? What's going on here? So that kind of pissed me off that I had the whole thing all put together, and now I got to take this off again. And I think I can just lift it straight up here. Give it a hand. Grab this plate like that and put it aside. And I don't want to mess with all of this stuff, so I could just ignore it. And the barrel can just slide right up, I think. I think with this watch, I can't remember whether the arbor comes straight up or not, but there's the barrel out of the watch. And it's part one of what I need to do. I think it's this hook right here on the barrel that's not catching. So, but if I grab the barrel and I turn it this way, which is the way you turn it, it tends to work for a while, then it slips. So I have to take this out. So I'm going to just take a quick photograph of the barrel, even though I know what's going on, but I'll take a photograph of the barrel anyway, so I can remember how this thing is put together. And then I need to just pop the barrel off and have a look. There, I took a picture of the barrel, the guilty barrel, and now I've got to take this barrel apart. Now I know for this barrel there's two arbors here. There's the one that goes through the center like that, right? And then there's an actual arbor attached on the inside. And when you spin the barrel around like this, it catches the hook here. So I don't think that hook is actually catching. That's my problem. I remember looking at this in the under a magnifying glass. So the way to do this is you turn it backwards, because you need to detach the center hook out. And I think the only way to do that is to spin it backwards like that. And when you do that, it snaps that out. So there it is there. There's the arbor here, and there's the secondary hook right there. So I think this hook is working. I just think this one here on the inside is sliding. So, and I don't know if there's any other way of telling whether it's sliding or not by just pulling the damn thing out. Because I think if I keep turning it and turning it and turning it, the thing slides. Now I could put it in a winder and just hold on to the barrel and see how much turn I can get on it. Or just, the other thing to do here is that's a very small tab, and is to take a look at the width of that tab, and then take a look at the width of the hole there, and then I want that to catch. So it seems to be pretty compressed there, so I'm not sure if that's going to help get it to catch or not. So, geez, I don't know, Jerry. I can't think of any other way of getting that to catch on the barrel. Maybe, let me have a look at that and see if I can. I may have to take the spring out, and then maybe I catch that spring first and then hand wind the spring into the barrel. That's kind of one way of doing it, right? And that way I know it's catching when it goes back in. So let me just grab the spring and get this out of the barrel, because I think I'm going to have to do this anyway. There's no if, and, or buts, and I don't want to break the spring because I'll have to buy another one. This is I can walk this spring out of the barrel, but I may have to take my glove off, because this is it's going to be a little bit tricky here. And these are pretty good springs. They won't rust. They won't rust at all. And this spring was working perfectly. So I just walk it back like that. I'm going to have to just go off to the side here because I'll hit something with it if I continue this way. And you got nothing in your picture right now, but ouch, it snapped me. So there it is. There's the spring, and there's the hook on the inside. You see that hook there? So if I look at that spring, I'm going to look at the level of that hook. And I think I'm okay. I'm going to have to get close. It's a really nice spring. It's still in an S shape. If you look at that, I got it, when I take it out of the barrel, it's still in an S shape, which is kind of nice. But if I look at that hook, yeah, it looks like it doesn't want to catch. And I absolutely need that hook to catch that spring. It looks like just the edge of that hook is catching. Yeah. Now I could file the inside of this. All watchmaking requires a lot of filing, by the way. So you don't all just file your taxes. You file other things. So I could, when the spring comes around and hooks on, I could file this thinner here, right there, so that it kind of grabs into the slot and holds it. And that way, when it comes around, and I believe it's got to come around like this, backwards, it's going to file in. So, and I, did I take a picture of this? Of course I didn't. I think it goes like this, like that, inside the barrel. And if I look at the hook of the barrel here, this would go the other way, right? Which means it goes this way. And I look at the side of where the hook is in the barrel, and that is hooking like that. So I think that is correct. That hooks like that, and then it goes all the way around, which means it goes in the barrel like this, right? So I'm making this bold assumption that I can file the inside of this here. Actually, it would catch on the outside of it. So file that down so it's sharp, and that way when it swings around, when this thing swings around, it slides right into this hook. So, and I think the depth of the hook is fine the way it is. This stupid spring is going to friggin' hit something. So yeah, so trying to think of the problem and the solution here. Yeah, so if this comes in like this, you want that to catch as it's, and then just slide inside the barrel, right? Right now I think it's just touching the edge of the barrel, not sliding inside. The only other way of doing this is to actually physically put the spring back, which is not easy. Let me go back here again. I'm just going to back up a bit here so I can do some work and you can see what I'm up to. But the only other way of doing this, I'm trying not to get my spring to hit my movement. See, watch, there's a nice watch movement there. I'm going to move this way the heck out of the way. There we go. Yeah, the only other way of doing this is to hand wind this into the movement and then make sure that that hook is inside, which means you're putting it in like this and you're hand winding it in like this, right? But I have a feeling if I do that, it ain't gonna work. So I'm trying to look at what slope I use for filing. So if I slope it flat on one side, so if I file this side so it's sloped, then that might catch. So that's the inside I need to file. Right now it's flat. So why don't we do that? That seems like the best plan. Let me get myself set up for filing. So what I've done is I've grabbed this with a hand vise, so you can see that's on the end of the hand vise. Now I have to get myself the world's smallest file and see if I can get that inside. So in this box, I forgot where these were. I was looking for them the other day, but now I got to remember where they are. So these are for burnishing or making holes, right? Not burnishing, but making holes. So I've got this, and I've got, what are these? These are more miniature hole making devices. So more stuff here. I think these files are a little bit too big for that. Yeah, I think. And if I go down to the smaller ones, do I have a smaller? These are reamers still. Reamers. No, reamers. I'm going to try to find the world's smallest file here. So these are files here that are very small, but they are not flat. So these are files that are flat but too wide, right? These files are also flat but way too wide. This file here is specifically, see that file there? It's specifically used for screws. There, that's for redoing screw heads. So it's a very handy little file. And I've got more files here that I've bunched up, and these are also way too big. I'm not sure if my filing option is going to work here. So these are very small. These are blades. These are not files. These are cutting blades. So I don't think that'll work. And these are boatloads of files here, but again, do I have a file that's this one here? This one here tapers off pretty small. So does this one here. But again, not sure if that's small enough to get in there and do the job. And then these files here also, they taper off as well, but again, not sure if they're small enough to put an edge on that. I just want to put enough of an edge on that it works. Okay, grab this file here. It's my box of files. If you don't have a box of files, you're a nobody. Hopefully that's not true. But there's my box of files. Just shut this box of files and move that out of the way. This still might not do it because I'm not sure whether my theory is going to work here. So what I want to do, this is going to go in this way, which means this side is the one that I need to catch, which means I need to file on the inside of this, right? So if I get really close to this, can I file this at all? Yeah, it's filing. Trying to make it really thin here. It's like a circus. Come and watch the old man file. Now the theory is that the other side of this will be flat. And we'll just rub on the barrel wall. And this side will be slightly tapered and slide into the groove there. See, I'm getting a taper. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'm getting a really slight taper right there. So that's it's kind of working. So let me just move my camera in a little bit so I can. A little bit. That's German. I'm going to move my camera in a little bit. Let me see right there, and then I'll just file it so you can see what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to try to get a close-up so you can see what I did. That might be good enough. Yeah, I think that's good enough. That'll catch So when that wraps around, when this spins around the barrel, that's going to catch it. So I need to do a drawing, because drawing. Oh, I need to do a drawing. So I think drawings will explain it to you perfectly. So let me get my drawing device out, which is a card. Every so many years, every 10, 20, 15 years, I got to change jobs. That way I get a whole slew of business cards I can use for this purpose. So here we go. Let me just do a drawing. Hopefully folks like Mike Myers. So there, I say so a lot. So there's, let me just do two drawings. This one here, I'll do this side here first, okay? So here's the edge of the barrel, like that. And if this was a 3D drawing, you'd see a hook that's like that comes out like that, and it flattens out just a bit. And then the barrel comes around like that. So I think Leonardo da Vinci could make a perfect circle. Well, obviously I'm not Leonardo da Vinci. And then the spring rides along like this, like that. And let's say that's where the hole is, right here, that this is going to ride into. And then the hole, it ends there and then continues going around. And then the spring just continues to spiral around the barrel like that until it gets to the arbor in the middle, like that. And then there's an arbor hook in there too, right? So my thought is that this is touching on the edge here, and as you wind the spring in, this pulls the spring inward, and when it pulls it inward too much, this angle becomes pretty steep with this hook as you wind it to its end, and that just unhooks it from the edge here, because all I'm getting is that hook. If that's the hook right there blown up, that's the hook, and there's the edge of the spring, and I'll fatten it all up. Let's just pretend that's the mainspring going around like that, and that's the hook like this, and it should be inside the barrel. It should be going this way, so it's hooked inside the mainspring rather. So this hook that's part of the barrel that's punched out should be here. It should actually be over here, which means this spring has successfully fed. Let me color this quickly. There we go. The mainspring is successfully fed underneath the hook, and then this can't move. So what I did, if I look at my drawing again, is I took that, let's just do a big hook. There's the big hook. The big hook. Now there's nothing I can do to change this hook, because that's too small and that's on the inside of the barrel. So there's the hook there. And what I did, if I draw that spring as a big fat piece of material, is I angled that spring so it's now like this. So it's angled. So I angled it in a direction that it would be flat here, push in. So now when it hits this hook, it's going to slide inside there and then be hooked into the barrel, because this is the barrel coming around like that, and the barrel of course would be touching this spring right here. So that would go like this and then hook inside. So you turn that around just so you can see it. So there it is there. There's the hook. The mainspring right now is just touching the end of that hook in the barrel, and then when I wind it too much, this goes this way, right? If I draw a bit of an arrow there, right? This pulls this way, which will pull this out and detach this from the hook in the barrel, right? So I want this to be on the inside, like I drew here, of that hook. This is the barrel hook, if this is the barrel coming around, right? That's the hook. And so I filed it, as you saw, right there, which should allow that to slide inside. So that's the theory. So now I just have to reassemble this bugger and see if it actually works. But before I do that, as you can see right there, you can see a little bit of an angle there. That used to be flat, and now it's at a bit of an angle, and that should, it's sort of a knife edge now, and that should catch inside the hook when I place that in the barrel. So that's the filing I did. Alrighty then. Every time I do this, I freak myself out, because I go, okay, here's the barrel, here's the hook, here's the winder. How the hell do I do this? So So I got to wind this back into the barrel. And if this needs to go in this way, like that, right, because it needs to hook onto this hook here. Hopefully it's going to hook on nicely. I'm just going to measure the width of this to make sure I don't have a problem that way. Just going to go inside and just need to measure the width of this where the hook is to make sure that when this is sitting in the barrel, it has a chance. I think it's good. It's pretty close, but it's good. So this, it goes into the barrel like this, kind of like that, right? Which means, and I've got to push it into the barrel. This is the barrel, like that, which means this has to be wound by the spring winder. Let me pick one that's the right size. Let's see if I can find a good one here. The spring winder and the barrel size. Let me get this like this. Just measure the barrel size. That's too small. Put that back. Need a little bit bigger. So that's a 11. Let's try a 12. Yeah, 13 looks too big. So let's try a 12. There's a 12. So this thing has to be wound this way, right? And if I look at the hook on this, there's a hook on the inside of this too. So there's left-handed and right-handed spring winders, and you got to make sure the hook is the right way as well, right? So I'm putting this, the barrel will go into this like this, right? Which means it goes in, it gets punched in this way, right? Which means this is going to be, I believe, on this side. Is that right? Jeez. I'm confusing myself here. Let me think here. I want to wind it into here. So I'm winding it in so it is in like this, right? Which means I just have to, let me just see if that's the right size. Yeah, it's still pretty, I don't know if a 13 is right. 13 feels too big. Oh man, a 13 I think is just right. Yeah. I think a 13 is the right size. That fits into the barrel like that, and you could push that in, punch that in. So let's just pretend it's a 13. I think I used a 12 last time though. Let me look here. Yeah, that leaves a lot to be desired. I don't want to use a 12 this time. So anyway, back to my thinking. What are you thinking? There's a 13. So the 13 then, this, you know, I think I just have to do a little work on this thing first before I push that in because it looks pretty dirty. Is it dirty because I didn't use it before, or is it dirty because it's just dirty? Oh yeah, all that comes off. Look at that, eh? It's not dirty, it's just stupid. So this barrel, then when this gets wound in like that, the hook has to be on the right side, which it is. Let me see if I can show you that hook. Can I show you that hook? Come on. This is something I had to look at a million times before, right? Okay, there it is there. Now, can you see that little hook towards my finger, where my finger is? Now you see the angle of that hook? It's sloping from thin on the top to fat on the bottom, if you look at that hook. There's the hook, which means it has to hook onto this like this, right? So, which means this has to go in like that, right? So this goes in, so that means the spring's got to go in like this. If you get it all backwards, you're screwed, okay? It won't work. So this here seems a bit stiff. Just loosening this up a bit here, because this seems a bit stiff. Stiff. Let me put a little oil on it. I want this to come out without a problem. So I'm going to oil that a bit. And it should work nicely. So it seems like it's stopping at a certain point. And there shouldn't be a method of stopping it. Oh, don't get it stuck. There we go. The last thing I want is for this thing to get stuck and then I can't get the spring out of the barrel. That would piss me off. So that's a bit stiff there. That seems to be stiff there. That seems to be a bit better here. That's not too bad. There. All right. Let's just assume that this is good here. And all right, and that would go in there like that. And this has to be wound around. This goes into the barrel like this. And this is what it catches when it's shoved in. That's right. Yeah. And again, I'm assuming it's not the outer hook that's the problem. I'm assuming it's the inner hook. So I'll just have to figure that one out after. So that goes in like this. But let me get the winder on here like this, because that's going to help me pop that in. And you just attach it like so, and then tighten it like that, and then this should be able to push out into the barrel. Right? Right. Now, like I said, I want it to be like this. I think that's right. Why does it always feel backwards? Did I twist this around somehow? This hooks on like so. I'm telling you, if you guys have the same problem putting springs on as I do. So this goes on like this, right? This goes on like this, which means this goes on like this, which means the barrel goes in like the other way, like this, right? Which means this goes on like this. It's a left, right, right, left problem. So there, that's like this. And there's my spring in the middle. And so when I turn it this way, is the hook the right way? Yeah, it is. So the hook is the right way. So you put it in like that. And that little bugger of a hook should fit in there nicely. Let me see if I can get that hook in there somehow. Doesn't want to go in. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch this out, because I think you can do it this way too. I think I can do it this way. Just have to make sure that the hook, which is over on the side here, watch the grown-up fart with a mainspring. I think the filing part was the easy part. Let me see. Grab this and pull it over the back part of this. Is that going to work? There we go. So now it's over the back part. So when I turn that around, it should catch. Push that in. Is that in far enough? Eat. There it is now. Just get that over the top, and now as I wind this thing, is it catching yet? It's because I got to wind it this way. You idiot! Okay, so now I'm winding it properly. Just snap me in the face. I always wear glasses when you wind mainsprings. And so I want to pull it into the barrel, but I want to make sure there's a little left over on the end so I can line up the hook. So you just wind it in this much, hold the winder, and just push it just a bit. And you'll see when it stops. A little more of a turn here. And just push it a bit until you get that. Yeah, that's right. Is that right? Jesus, man. Because that's going to go into the barrel like that. And the angle of that thing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man. All right, so now I'm going to let this go by loosening it like that. And I should have, and when I turn it the opposite way, it'll unhook from that arbor like that. So here's the situation now, right? I've got there's the mainspring winder. The mainspring is wound in there like that. This arbor it'd be nice to be able to do that, but I can't. So there's that. And remember, I filed it on the inside there, so you can look at that again and see if it's. Yeah, there it is on this side, right here. I filed it on this side, so this should be square against the edge of the barrel, right? So when I put that in, I can put it in right here, like that. Right, and when that barrel turns in like this, that should slide in there. What I'm going to do is take my push that up just a little bit and then turn it again. I could see the spring there on the edge of it, so I'm just hoping it slides in once I push this barrel in. So let me just punch it in now. That work? I don't think so. Just hang on. I unattached it. I unattached it. There we go. Now I got to push this in. Now the spring is officially in the barrel. Let me get this out of the way, because I'm hoping this, my theory here, it's going to catch on that spring there, so it's going to go around and not slip. That better work, otherwise I got to take it all apart again. Yeah, I can kind of see the spring over the latch there. I can kind of see the spring over the latch, so this might work. Yeah, when I do that, it looks like it's way over the latch. It has to work or I'm screwed. There we go. That's good enough. So I think that worked. Let's stop and start again. Alright, now I'm going to put the barrel together. This is usually pretty tricky because this thing just floats in the top and you push it down. So let me just see where that, there's the arbor for that, or the hook is right there. So if I push that down like this, that should work, right? There we go. So that's pushed down now. And then the arbor goes into the barrel. Like so. And then I turn that around until it feeds in at the right angle. So if this doesn't work, I've got to take it all apart all over again and then make it work. And there we go. That's perfect. That's flat there, right? That's good there. And because I've handled the crap out of this thing, I got to put a little bit of oil on it. As a good watchmaker, there's no way I can do this without using my fingers, by the way. I don't know if there's anybody that's magical that can actually do that without using fingers at all. Only because of the hook, right? So I've got my little oiling crap here, so let me just grab some oil here. That'll spread that around. Grab a bit more oil. And when you're oiling something, if you pull it out, if you pull your oiler out fast, you get more oil on it. If you pull it out slow, the oil drains off, so you don't get as much oil on it. So just putting this back, and then I'm going to grab my grabbing the movement like this, and I have to slide the barrel in. This is not that hard, so sliding the barrel into the movement. There we go. Barrel's slid in. That arbor is in the down position. And we grab the plate here. There's a lot of hoping and praying going on. So just put the plate directly on top like that. And I just check the edges to make sure that that plate is actually on, right? Just zoom in a little bit here. It's funny, my chair is not down for this today. So I'm just going to put a screw in here to make sure nothing moves. I think that's a screwdriver that's too big. Plus it's not centered. And let me just get these screws back in here. If this doesn't work, then the next thing I do is actually, it's wrong hole. The next thing I do is actually bend that spring a bit on the end. That's if I have to. And bend it right at that joint. So if this doesn't work, I'm going to do that. If this does work, then we're good to go, man. We are good to go. All I need to do is put pressure on that hook to let it slide into place. So by winding it, it should let it slide into place. And just make sure that all the edges are good here. So, because I'm just going to put it together enough to wind it up. And then I'll feel whether it's slipping again. And then I'll be like pissed off, because why are you slipping again? Perfeczione. Perfeczione. Where is my little toothpick? You know what? I'm going to use my famous hand pusher that I said I couldn't find the other day. It was just sitting right there. You are a total moron. Total moron. There's my hand pusher, whatever it's called. It's a stick. Bergeron 7010. It's probably $1,000 stick. And I just use that to hold this down. And I'll back that off until it lines up, and then I'll make it go forward. Of course, don't screw the stick down, you idiot. There we go. Now I'll get the winder here and see what kind of action I get. You know what? It worked. That did not slip at all. I heard it go tick once, but it didn't slip, so perfect repair. And because I'm super anal retentive, I'm going to take a slow-mo video of that bounce to make sure I've got some good amplitude there, because I farted with it. Slow-mo video time. It's a slow-mo video time, so just zoom in there and then 3 seconds of video, and what's it looking like? Oh, look at that, baby. Look at that. That is excellent. So it's going 360 and another 90 degrees. So there we go. Perfect. So I'm just going to reassemble this watch very quickly. Just have to put the ring on and put the watch back together, and I think we're good to go. Should I do that on film? Should I? Should I? I don't know. I'm pretty happy about this. The spring seems to be sticking, which is nice. So I just need to put this down a bit, and I need to get that out of the way. Line that up here. Keep my fingers away from the... Keep my fingers away from anything that would cause a problem. Yeah, let me just pick that movement up now. Every time you do something, move the other thing out of the way, because you could cause all kinds of problems. So I think the fingernails alone can bring down this. There we go. That's good there. I'm just keeping an eye on where the hands are here. And that is good there, as you can see. That's in there. And we look all the way around. Dust cover is good. Good, good, good. Let me get myself a chunk of Rodico here, because I'm anal retentive. That's what anal retentive people do, is they grab Rodico. Probably shouldn't be touching this with my finger now after I've Rodicoed it. Rodico man, Rodico man. Is that a song? It is now. So that was a quick repair, and you saw how, you know, I don't think a book can teach you how to do that. I don't know if you look at a book and go, geez, I wonder how I repair that. The book will not teach you how to do that. Only you can figure stuff like that out. So, because the book will not help you at all in doing that. So just rock this forward until I find the hole. Let me see. Come on, get in there. Oh, there we go. It's dropping in. That's the simplest way of doing that, by the way, is you just lose the weight of the movement itself. Let me back this off a bit. You just use the weight of the movement itself to find center, or find the hole. I'm trying to keep my gloves away from stuff here. Now when I put the screws back, again, I like to actually make sure that the screws are below the balance, the case screws. That way, if I have an issue of some sort and my screwdriver slips, It's not going to slip up. It'll slip down like that, or if the screw slips, it'll slip down. So it's a good practice to keep your screwdrivers on the other side of that balance, on the lower side, so gravity can be your friend. That balance is ticking nicely, man. That is very nice. See that? So you saw that, right? It slipped. It went down out of the way. So it didn't touch anything. So, and I could put the face on and then level it off and then put the screws back on. But I want to make sure everything is in there nice and tight right now. And do that. Tighten that up. And now protect the face. Protect the face. I can take my glove off right now to do this. I'm not going to. So there we go there. There we go. So that's perfect, man. That is perfect. Clean that up a little bit. I don't know if I touched that plate. I don't think I touched the plate at all. But I'll let that spring run out again. And put the back on. So I can take my glove off now, I think. Tighten it up a bit. There we go. It's always fun putting the face on, because if you get it threaded wrong, you can screw up your watch. So just back it off, and then you don't have to worry about threading it wrong. That's pretty good there. I can feel the tension here from the winding, because I wound that a lot. So I'm going to set the time now. It's 11:47. Got to pull this out, I guess. 11:47. So I don't like going backwards. On a pocket watch, you can, but I don't like doing it. So I'm going to go to 11:47. 11:47. Get my watch out. Oh, my Apple Watch is somewhere else. I'll just use this watch here. So 11:50, 11:48 and a bit. 11:48 and change. 11:48. 46, 47, 48 and change. Right there. There we go. That's tight. That'll wind. There we go. So that, my friends, is a job. I'll say it's a job done. So a job well done. A job well done. So that's adjusting the mainspring on a pocket watch. And you saw what I had to do there. I even made a drawing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So I was doing that flight simulator video earlier, and someone said, "Hey, I like your watch videos. Stop making flight simulator videos." So I do have the option of making any video I want, though, I think, don't I? Please. Officially, as of tomorrow, I think I'm on Christmas vacation tomorrow. So last week was a write-off. And there's the file I managed to use. I used the tip of that file to get inside that spring to put an angle on that spring so it would slide underneath the tab that was created for the mainspring barrel. So I didn't punch that tab out for the barrel. Someone else had done that. The barrel came that way, so it wasn't me who did it. I've got to put my tools away. This is a very nice winding set, by the way, mainspring winding set, and I bought it from a gentleman who lives close to me, and it's a Bergeron set, which is nice, high end. I hate crappy low end stuff, so I paid him a few bucks for it, and away you go, right? So that is I think this goes in like this. I got to put this in there first, like that, and then this goes down like this. And I think there's no order, just as long as it's out of the way. So it could be super anal and just make sure all these are lined up properly, right? Yeah, give them all good angles. Look at that. Call the anal retentivity department, because I've done it again. Oh, one left. There we go. I'm not sure what size this was supposed to be, because it goes down to 4. So I've got 0 here, and I've got 0, 0, 0, 1, 2 is here. Look at that. 2 is in the wrong slot. Get over here. 2, 2, like that. There we go. 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Should start 10 there, right? Because it's backwards. Anyway, I'm not going to fix that. So that's the Mainspring winding set. It's Bergeron. It's very high end. It's very nice, and it's got to make sure it's the right winding or left winding. So this is a right-handed winding set, and it works perfectly. So there you go. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Stay tuned for my next video, and just put the watch on top. There it is. So this is Wally's watch. So I got it working real Wally. The spring is not slipping anymore. So there we go. Another hour of labor. But I'll give that hour to you for free. Just as a hint here, the next thing I'm going to be working on is this big beast right here. So John, I won't say last names, but John passed this to me and said, JD, I need you to deal with this escapement up, or this balance up here, because it seems like it's loose. There's too much side shake on it. And I was like, and it is running, it will run, but there's too much side shake on it. I was like, damn, this looks like a hard work job. So I got to take this platform off, and then take the balance off, measure it all, clean it up, and make sure that works. So that'll be the next video I'll do either today or tomorrow, and I'll work on that. I am not taking all this crap apart. I'm not a clock guy. So John, if you're out there, I'm not touching this stuff. Too big, too dangerous. I like my fingers. So I'm not farting around with all these plates and all these little tiny pinions and pivots and plates. That's up to you. I will get the balance working nicely, and you can do the rest. And just to make sure I know how to do the balance nicely, I just have to reach in right here, and there's a gear down in the center here, right there. And that gear is touched by this gear, which is touched by this gear, which is touched by the barrel. So if I move this gear, right, it moves the balance. There we go. So there we go. Just grab that gear there and pull it just a bit, and the balance is ticking away. It's got pretty shitty amplitude. So that's the next video. That's a teaser. Thanks for watching my channel. I'm JD. Stay tuned for the next one.